Jimmy?
Yeah. It's me. Yeah, I'm in Omaha, Nebraska.
Hey guys, Q here. In this video, I'll be breaking down Kim Wexler and Gene Takavic from Better Call Saul, aka Saul Goodman, post Breaking Bad. But more specifically, will Kim and Gene reunite by the end of the show?
Sorry. I just can't see it.
It's okay. You will.
During this discussion of Gene possibly reuniting with Kim Wexler in Season 6 of Better Call Saul, will be including how might they reunite, along with why, and what will happen once they do. Warning, spoilers for Better Call Saul Season 5, Breaking Bad, and El Camino. So if you couldn't tell by my last Jimmy and Kim video about Ice Station Zebra, along with this Gene and Kim reunion theory video, I've been thinking about a possible happy, or at least a bittersweet ending for Kim along with Gene. Currently, the thought of Kim surviving Better Call Saul Season 6, not only alive but as a free woman, is honestly 50-50. Throughout the entirety of the show, Kim has been the rational force to keep Jimmy grounded no matter how far he goes.
This is why this works. I go too far, and you pull me back.
But now, the takeaway from the final Kim and Jimmy scene in the Season 5 finale is that these roles may reverse going into Season 6. Will Kim go full-on slippin' Kimmy to the point that Jimmy can't even save her? There's so many theories for Kim that will result in her misfortune. Will Kim get disbarred? Will she go to jail? Will she move back to her hometown? Will she become a cartel lawyer? Will she have to change her life via Ed the Disappearer? Will she get killed in the crosshairs of the events of Season 6, plus much more? So with all these theories about Kim, I wanted to shine some light of hope in the deep dark rabbit hole that is the Better Call Saul Season 6 Kim theory discussion. So, with all that being said, enough introduction, let's theorize of what we can on how Kim and Gene might possibly reunite. Just saying that Gene and Kim will reunite is swell and all, but how will they realistically get that to work?
Keep asking me that. Like you think I have some answer.
If they were to reunite, something has to happen in Season 6 that will propel Kim through Breaking Bad and into the Gene timeline. So let's discuss all the available possibilities that we can think of, and trust me, there's a lot.
Okay, look.
So let's think about Kim's character. What do we know about her, her family, and her past?
We know you're good, we know you know your stuff. Tell us about Kim Wexler.
Kim comes from a small town called Red Cloud just off of the Nebraska-Kansas border. She says it's a small little town that you haven't heard before, and I agree, I didn't know about it before this scene in Season 2 where she mentions it while in an interview with Schweikert and Coakley.
I see you went to UNM Law. Are you from New Mexico?
Not originally. I'm from the Midwest, just a tiny little town barely on the map, near the Kansas-Nebraska border. You've never heard of it.
Now, during Kim's interview in Season 2, she said that her life was going nowhere fast living in her hometown, and that's why she decided to clean up her act and move to New Mexico, going to UNM Law and eventually becoming a lawyer.
So what brought you here?
I guess one day I just looked around at my life, at who I was, and realized if I kept going the way I was going...
Which way was that?
Best case, probably married to the guy that ran the town gas station. Maybe cashiering down at the Hinky Dinky.
The Hinky what?
What about Kim's family? Do they still live in her hometown? Are they still alive? We know that her mother was an irresponsible drunk.
Fine. Don't listen to me. You never listen!
And her father was possibly a movie buff. He was super into old movies such as Ice Station Zebra, which actually fueled the theory about Kim being behind Ice Station Zebra associates from Breaking Bad.
Ice Station Zebra is on the North Pole. The thing takes place on the South Pole. They literally could not be any more different. My dad loves this one.
Yeah, him and Howard Hughes.
I know, right? Can't get too finer reviews than that.
There's a scene in Season 5 where Kim opens up to Mr. Acker, which is rare. He didn't believe what she had to say, but she was telling the truth. Kim's never had a home. She's grown up poor and was constantly moving from place to place. So I guess that Kim wanted to make a name for herself. Even though Kim has enough money now to own a house, she still lives in an apartment. She's very humble and modest, but she's also used to not having a lot, and I guess she's sticking to what she's used to.
I've never owned a house. My family never owned one either. We never owned anything. When I was little, my mother used to shake me awake in the middle of the night, yelling it was time to go. She was always one step ahead of the landlord.
The show creators and writers rarely find a good spot to put in info about Kim's past. This is because when they do it, they want the exposition of it to be natural to the story, whatever's currently happening at the time. So when the creators and writers do put in something about Kim's past, it's low-key important and should be paid attention to. Now, it is true that Kim's trying to pull at Mr. Acker's heartstrings to the point that Mr. Acker thinks that she made the story up, but I'm certain that she's telling the truth here because the show creators and writers have confirmed it.
I'd throw my things in a cardboard box and run outside in my pajamas and bare feet. Sometimes it was so cold, my toes turned blue. If we'd had a house, I never would have wanted to leave.
Whether Kim's career gets ruined or her life becomes in danger, she could end up moving back to her hometown by the end of Better Call Saul Season 6. If Kim winds up back there again, will she return to her old habits? What exactly are her old habits anyways? Now, the show creators and writers have confirmed in multiple interviews and podcasts that Kim used to have someone in her life that wasn't a good influence on her, and now she's treating Jimmy in that same sort of manner. Maybe after everything that happens in Season 6 and into the Breaking Bad and Gene timelines, she'll have been through so much that she'll want to settle down close to home, but also close to Gene. So what do I mean by close to Gene? Well, not to bury the lead, and I'm sure a lot of you know this already, but to state the obvious and just cover all of our ground, Gene lives in Omaha, Nebraska. Kim's hometown is Red Cloud, Nebraska. Looking on a map, Omaha is next to the Iowa border, but it's fairly close to Red Cloud and the Kansas border as well. And there's actually a road from Omaha that goes pretty much right past Red Cloud, so commute between the two places is only 3 hours long by vehicle. With Kim's hometown only 3 hours away from where Gene is it possible that this was planned on purpose by the show creators? It seems too much of a coincidence, right? This is the entire reason why Kim's hometown or her moving back there is even important. The creators have known that Gene was going to be in Omaha, Nebraska managing a Cinnabon since not only the first season of Better Call Saul, but even Breaking Bad Season 5. It makes sense that they'd put in Kim's hometown during Season 2 as somewhere close by as a little breadcrumb that they may plan on returning to later on to elaborate. When Saul's getting his new identity set up with Ed the Disappearer in the second last episode of Breaking Bad, the penultimate episode of Granite State, the dialogue between Saul and Ed is set in such a way where it seems like Ed chose the location for Saul.
Nebraska, what's in Nebraska?
You, from now on.
Now, it is possible that Saul chose the location of Nebraska, and he's just asking Ed, what's in Nebraska because he's never been there before. Saul brings up Nebraska because he walks over and looks at Ed's computer as he's making his new ID. Since Saul brings up Nebraska this way, it makes me believe that he didn't choose the location.
Nebraska, what's in Nebraska?
It seems like sometimes Ed lets you choose where to go, but other times he doesn't. He let Jesse choose, it seems like he chose for Saul, and he had to set up a special situation for Walt. It does seem like Ed chose the location of Omaha, Nebraska for Saul, but that just seems like way too much of a coincidence for Ed to just randomly choose a location anywhere in the United States, and it just so happens to be a few hours away from Kim's hometown. And vice versa, it's way too much of a coincidence for the show writers of Better Call Saul to just put in the fact that Kim's hometown is only a few hours away from where we know that Gene is. So what do you think? Did Saul choose to go to Nebraska himself, or did Ed pick the location for him? Now, just to be clear, it's worth noting that the dialogue between Saul and Ed about Nebraska in Breaking Bad was written and created in real life before the thought of Kim Wexler or Better Call Saul even existed. So with that being said, the show writers and creators have to go back and reverse engineer it to make sense with the current Better Call Saul story, kind of like what we're doing with these theories. The show creators and writers have admitted that reverse engineering dialogue from Breaking Bad so that Better Call Saul makes sense is just one of the most difficult parts of creating this prequel show, with moments such as Saul talking about his ex-wives.
Sir, do you have documentation of your 2 previous dissolutions?
Yeah.
And let's not forget the scene of Saul complimenting Francesca's booty in his first episode, which the show creators are piting themselves for.
Hey, Francesca, how about I follow you home?
No.
For safety. What? God, you are killing me with that booty.
It's crazy how Francesca's booty can cause such a dilemma in the writer's room. How could Kim still be in Saul's life if he's talking to Francesca like that? And even though Saul is talking to Ed as if he has no reason to be in Nebraska in Breaking Bad, it's entirely possible for the writers and creators to reverse engineer a reason behind why he says all of this, along with why Kim will reunite with him in post-Breaking Bad. If Kim were to disappear, how would Kim meet Ed? Would Kim meet Ed through Jimmy? Or crazy thought, what if Jimmy met Ed through Kim? It sounds crazy, but we still don't know how Jimmy meets Ed. Now, I could focus an entire video on this to be honest, so I'll be brief, but I feel like it has to be a little bit more complicated than just Caldera. Now let's just put on our tinfoil hats for a moment and throw some crazy theories against the wall, because it sounds crazy, but what if Kim has already disappeared once, and that's why she doesn't have a middle name? What if she already knows who Ed the Disappearer is?
Do you, James Morgan McGill, take Kimberly Wexler? No middle name.
Look, if the show creators can reverse engineer the story for Better Call Saul, then I can at least try to reverse engineer some theories about it. So let's at least try to get back on track here. We know about Kim's hometown, but why would Kim even move back? Would she move back to Nebraska just to be with Gene? Would she move back there for her own safety and then Gene moves there afterwards? Or does she have other personal reasons? Maybe Kim even breaks up with Saul, so he has nothing to do with it for the most part. She could get disbarred and lose her law license, causing her to give up her career and dream as a lawyer and go back to her hometown. This could be very discouraging because it feels like Kim was kind of in a slump in her life. She was going nowhere, and then she finally moved away from her hometown, crawled out of that rut, and made something for herself, which makes it just that much more surprising that she quit her job at Schweikart and Coakley, which I've done an entire half-an-hour video about. So it'd be very depressing to have to move back there and essentially revert to the way that she used to be. Even if she doesn't want to revert, being around people or places from your past causes you to bring out old habits. It's also worth mentioning that Kim could move back to somewhere close to her hometown, but not exactly the same city. So how could Kim get disbarred or lose her law license? Trying to con, scam, or screw over Howard during season 6 could backfire on her. That's pretty much the most obvious explanation. I'll try to be brief here with this little digression. Jimmy thinks that Kim is too much of a good person to destroy Howard's life, someone that they've known for the better part of a decade. Kim downplays it and keeps pushing the subject up to their final scene in season 5. Although Kim loves doing cons with Jimmy, she's known to be too eager and too quick to act. She may be smart, but when she gets excited about something, she may not think it through fully. I feel like Kim could get herself caught from situations that Jimmy wouldn't, so if Kim gets carried away, especially without Jimmy's help, could she screw herself over for going after Howard? Maybe Jimmy wants to play it safe, and Kim just wants to go full throttle, so she just does things that are careless. Now, another possibility is that maybe one of her old cons catches up with her. She's pulled quite a few cons here and there under Mesa Verde's back over the past few seasons, especially during season 5 with everything involving Mr. Acker. And it was really risky and sketchy getting Saul involved to defend Mr. Acker. I'm really surprised that they fell for it. I can't believe it, honestly.
You're Jimmy?
Yes.
How did that happen?
So it's possible that some of it, if not all of it, could come back to haunt her. Just like how they brought back the Sandpiper settlement money when we were at least thinking of it, could they do the same with Kim being caught for old cons during season 6? Or maybe Slippin' Kimmy just goes on a con binge, not with Howard but in general, and she gets caught for doing a bunch of new cons, possibly on her own. In episode 206, we saw Kim start a con on her own and phone Jimmy to come join. Kim is usually hesitant at first, but she's also usually the one to eventually push things forward and continuously insist that they should con more, even if she's taking things too far.
And also, I agree, we are totally done with all that. Over and out, no more.
Let's do it again.
She could get careless, as we've already discussed, and she could leave a trail of breadcrumbs that would lead right back to her. She could get her career ruined, she could get disbarred, she could even go to jail, and then she won't be able to enjoy any of that Sandpiper money. Now, just as a side note moving forward, Chuck told Jimmy that he ruins the lives around him.
You're going to hurt everyone around you. You can't help it. So stop apologizing and accept it. Embrace it. Frankly, I'd have more respect for you if you did.
Although I agree that this isn't Jimmy's intentions, and I wish that this wasn't true and Chuck was wrong, I actually think that Chuck is right. It's fitting within this universe for that tragic prophecy to come true. Could Jimmy be the reason why Kim gets carried away, ruins her career, and winds up back in her hometown where she started? Well, if it wasn't for Jimmy, Kim wouldn't be corrupted at all, I don't think. She wouldn't be doing any of these cons, she wouldn't be trying to set up to destroy Howard in season 6. Who knows, maybe Kim does have a dark past, maybe she's capable of more than we're aware, but currently she's cleaned up her act as a lawyer and she has a promising career, so currently Jimmy's the only thing that's truly corrupting her. Now there's multiple reasons why Gene takes matters into his own hands with the cab driver, but could part of the reason be that he knows that Kim is nearby, so he doesn't want to relocate and leave her again? Could Gene even get Kim to help him with the cab driver somehow? So if Kim does move back to Nebraska, is Gene aware of it or not? It's possible that she'll do so without telling Saul, depending on their current situation together. This would mean that when Saul turns into Gene and moves to Omaha, he actually has no clue that Kim is so close to him. This all depends on what happens to Kim during the Better Call Saul and Breaking Bad timeline, along with if she even stays married to Jimmy or not, especially if she gets screwed over in the end. Shifting gears here, what about Kim getting involved with the cartel? Just completely out of left field, but everything that happened between her and Lalo in season 5, it's actually a possibility. What if Kim gets caught up in cartel business somehow? Her life could be in danger more than it already is. We've already seen her go out and speak to Lalo on her own accord, and even though Jimmy told her to stay away from Lalo, she's the one who ends up saving Jimmy's ass from Lalo in episode 509. Oh my god, I love that scene.
Oh, really?
Yeah, really.
So could Kim take it upon herself to work for Lalo? Now, why would she do that? Does she feel like she needs to prove something to Jimmy? Or does Lalo come back to Albuquerque in season 6 and force Kim to work for it? Maybe Kim will agree to work for the cartel to save Jimmy again somehow? I don't know, I don't think that Kim would willingly do it, especially since Kim was trying to get Jimmy to not be involved with the guy in the first place.
But do you want to be a friend of the cartel?
I don't like this. I don't want you to do it.
I don't think Kim will want to be a friend of the cartel any more than she's forced to. Now, it kind of started out as a joke theory after season 5 finished, but could Kim seriously become a cartel lawyer or advisor for Lalo? Even if Kim doesn't start personally working for Lalo, Kim and Jimmy could both get involved with Lalo and the cartel somehow again. What if they decide to con the cartel? That sounds pretty stupid if they just did it for money, but what if they did it for their own safety? This could possibly happen with the help of Nacho, and it could all circle back to answering the
"It wasn't me, it was Ignacio, he's the one!"
mystery. Wouldn't that just be nice? Somehow from all of this, Kim's life could be in immediate danger, so Kim may use Ed to relocate to Nebraska under a new identity. But should Ed be the answer to conclude every surviving character's story arc from this universe? First Saul, then Walt, then Jesse twice, and now possibly Nacho and Kim too. Oh, don't forget Nacho's dad. Now, Ed the Disappearer is a realistic answer. I like it. It makes sense why everyone instantly jumps on the Disappearer, but they've used it so much. Veterans of the Breaking Bad universe will know that although Ed is always a possible solution, it's not always a happy ending. Now, you could ride off into the sunset like Jesse Pinkman, or you could live a life of torturous loneliness like Gene Takavic, or even live out your final days in solitude like Walter White, to the point that you can't even take it anymore. I guess that's your own fault, depending on what situation you're even in, where you need to relocate and disappear in the first place, but I digress. Although I like Ed the Disappearer as an end-all answer, it's predictable, bland, and a bit boring now due to it being just so overdone. Plus Ed's actor, Robert Forster, passed away, rest in peace, so it'd be a bit more difficult to work around alluding to his character without actually showing him. They can show his van, they can show his vacuum shop, they can even just have someone call and order a Hoover Max Pro or whatever it's called.
I'm looking for a Hoover Max. Pressure Max, max pressure, Hoover, maybe it's a Pro Max. Got like a filter.
Hoover products are right over there on the wall behind you.
There are workarounds, but how will they do it? Now, circling back to Ice Station Zebra Associates, if it is true that Kim is involved with it during Breaking Bad, maybe Kim has to actually disappear at the same time as Saul, but if Kim had to disappear, wouldn't it be a bit foolish to relocate her with her new identity back where she grew up? I doubt that Ed would even allow that for safety concerns, unless she's a super low-risk client from Ed and she just relocates to a nearby town in Nebraska like we've said. So we never got a full explanation for Ice Station Zebra Associates. I tried doing a full video breakdown on the theory, check that out if you haven't yet already.
What is Ice Station Zebra Associates?
But is it possible that Kim wasn't even in Albuquerque while operating Ice Station Zebra Associates? Is that why we never saw her in Breaking Bad? Because she was working behind the scenes and out of town. Now, even if Kim isn't behind Ice Station Zebra, she could still be with Saul during Breaking Bad, whether she's married to him, living with him, working with him, or just still in contact with him in any way. Due to this, at some point during or before Breaking Bad, Saul and Kim agree that Kim should move back to her hometown or a town nearby for her own safety. Or when Saul has to disappear at the end of Breaking Bad, maybe she disappears at some point as well.
Okay, then I'm going with you.
Well, they're only expecting me.
Constructing a storyline in Better Call Saul which shows Kim as relevant during Saul's life in Breaking Bad is a hard pill to swallow, unless it's done correctly. So why isn't there any implication of Kim during Breaking Bad? Again, I've done a whole video about this, but to elaborate, this is originally because Saul Goodman was a very one-dimensional character in Breaking Bad. And also, as we've said, Kim's character wasn't thought into existence yet. The creators and writers could reverse engineer this into Saul being just simply good at keeping his personal life completely separate from his work life. And the reason why he's so strict on this is probably because everything that happened between Jimmy, Kim, and Lalo in Season 5 and possibly Season 6. Hell, Saul is still scared of Lalo even during Breaking Bad.
Lalo didn't send you? No, Lalo!
So if both Kim and Jimmy make it out alive by the end of the show for Better Call Saul, with Lalo taken care of somehow, it would have definitely caused them to learn their lesson. So then moving forward, Kim stays far away from Saul's office and his clients, even though she may still live, love, or work with him behind the scenes. Although it seems like I may be retreading some old ground that I've already covered here in this video, I need to take bits and pieces and parts from pretty much every Kim-related video that we've talked about and smash them all together to explain why she will reunite with Gene. Because unless we get some kind of a revolutionary explanation in Season 6, I feel like Kim has to be alive for Saul to be as cheery as he is during Breaking Bad.
I'm going to tell you what your options are, okay? And you got a grand total of 2. Option A, Brandon takes the deal. Option B, Brandon goes up to the penitentiary and gets his rectum resized about yay big.
They don't necessarily have to still be together, maybe she's not in his life as much anymore, but I do believe that she survives. At least I hope so. Also, I feel like another piece of the puzzle of all of this could possibly be Kim being the answer to the Better Call Saul 405 Breaking Bad flash forward phone call. The teaser for the episode shows a flash forward to the Breaking Bad timeline. This is actually literally right before Saul shows up at Ed's place. They work out Saul's new identity. This is when the Nebraska dialogue happens between them that we just went over. Saul's even wearing the same clothes. Anyways, the flash forward shows Saul cleaning out his office, saying goodbye to Francesca, and calling Ed the disappeared. Right before Saul tells Francesca goodbye, he tells her to answer a phone call November 12th at 3 p.m., which is actually Saul's birthday.
And where are you going to be November 12th at 3 p.m.?
I'll be there, but if it doesn't ring at 3 on the dot, I'm gone.
Don't worry, it's gonna ring.
It is true that there's a lot of possibilities as to who could be on the other side of that phone call, and for all we know, it could just be Jimmy himself checking in with Francesca, but one of the possibilities is that it could be Kim, and this could relate into her reuniting with Gene. Maybe the phone call is between Kim and Saul on his birthday to speak with her and catch up with her once they know that they're safe. Maybe Gene and Kim talk once or twice every year on their birthdays or something. Now, as far as the timeline goes, the Breaking Bad flash forward scene, along with the episode Granite State, happens in March 2009. So the phone call Saul set up with Francesca is 8 months away in November 2009. Now, 8 months away, that may seem like a decently long time to wait and see until the heat's died down, but the final episode of Breaking Bad with Walt's shootout and Jack's gang happens in September of 2009, along with the events of El Camino, so Saul's phone call that he set up with Francesca happens only 2 months after the events of Breaking Bad's finale, along with El Camino. The Gene scenes happen in 2012, so Gene has been in hiding for about 3 years now at this point. Okay, so that's the end of all the theories that I can currently think of about how Kim and Gene will get together and reunite. Of course, once this video uploads, I'll probably think of 10 more, but I assume you get the point by now. We should probably move on.
Okay.
As we discussed at the beginning of the video, how Kim and Gene will reunite is only the first half of the story. So what happens when they reunite? However it happens, let's just assume that from here on out that Gene and Kim reunite. Cool. Now what? What will be the point of them getting together? Why would this possibly blow our minds? Will it just be to conclude the ending moments of Gene's story, or could we get a full story arc of them together in the Gene timeline? There are multiple different possibilities on how much of a surprise Kim being in the Gene timeline will even be. So Gene does know that Kim's nearby, and they talk, but we as the audience just don't know it yet. It's possible that Kim's nearby, but he's not expecting her to show up and get involved with his life again. And then finally, there's the possibility that Gene has no clue where Kim is, so if she shows up, it'll be just as much of a surprise to Gene as it will be for the audience. Now, regardless of when Kim shows up, the Gene story arc in Season 6 is going to pick up where it left off in Season 5, and that's the cab driver. Now, yes, I have done a video about the cab driver, but I mainly left out one important detail from that video: Kim. So first off, what does Gene want to do with the cab driver? I don't think this is a situation where Gene can hang the cab driver upside down like a piñata and scare the crap out of him. Even if Kim helped Gene somehow con or blackmail this cab driver into staying quiet, will a half measure really be good enough to do it? We know that this universe has taught us the lesson of no half measures over and over again.
The moral of the story is, I chose a half measure when I should have gone all the way.
Although the half-measure speech mainly focuses on Mike and Walt, it also relates to almost every character in the Gilliverse in general. It's possible that Gene and or Kim will try a half-measure with the cab driver at first, but it may prove to be unreliable. I think that in the end, Gene might have to kill the cab driver and his friend. That being said, Kim wouldn't help Saul somehow take out the cab driver permanently, would she?
Kim, doing this, it's not you. Okay, you would not be okay with it.
Wouldn't I?
How dark can Kim even go? Is she willing to become an accomplice to murder?
Oh man, that's messed up.
Maybe after the events of Better Call Saul Season 6, she will already be an accomplice to murder, so the cab driver won't be her first rodeo. Kim would have to go through some crazy shit in Season 6 in order to agree with something like that. You'd think that the Kim we know would fight against someone being killed, even if it was the last option, but Kim seemed quite okay with Jimmy implying to her that Lalo has been taken care of, considering the dangers that Lalo could put their life in. Not only that, but who knows what kind of crap Kim may go through during Season 6. For all we know, Jimmy/Saul/Gene could be all that she has left. What if her entire family has passed away like Jimmy's?
There aren't that many of us McGills left, and I think we should stick together.
It's possible that Kim doesn't want to contact her family, or maybe they don't want to contact her. It would make total sense if Kim didn't want to contact her family because her life was in danger or she had to disappear. Maybe Gene is all that Kim has left in her life, even if they have wronged each other in the past, so could she return to him and offer him help? With there only being one season left for Better Call Saul, they don't have much time to fit in a Kim reunion, especially since they have to conclude the main theme of the Gene story arc, which is the cab driver finding out his true identity. Will they have Kim reunite with Gene during the cab driver situation or afterwards? It's possible that Kim doesn't even show up until Gene is finished handling the cab driver on his own. So it doesn't always have to revolve around the cab driver. Kim could involve herself in Gene's life for a completely unrelated reason, and we have just yet to see it unfold. Now, a funny theory that I'd regret if I didn't mention, from multiple interviews, Kim's actor Rhea Seahorn seems to think that Kim actually ends up working at the store Claire's Accessories right next to the Cinnabon in the mall.
She works at Claire's Accessories next to the Cinnabon at the mall where Gene is. She specializes in clip-on ponytails and then also is a vigilante crime fighter with Gene at night.
This has been kind of a joke theory that fans have told her so many times over the years that I believe she's adopted it as her main narrative as well. That being said, Ray also says that Kim specializes in clip-on ponytails and that she'll fight crime with Gene at night, so she's obviously joking, and so is everyone else in the interview too, which will be linked in the description. Although this is mostly a joke, it is possible.
What?
Just picture this. What if at the end of the Gene scene for episode 601, the camera shows Gene working at Cinnabon, but then it starts to pan out to show Kim, possibly in disguise as well, working at the store right next to Cinnabon. Or maybe Gene isn't at Cinnabon because he's busy doing whatever he's doing with the cab driver, and then the camera pans over to Kim in the other store, noticing that he's not there. And there's also a ton of other variations that can make up such a moment like this. It does seem kind of ridiculous and far-fetched or a bit too convenient, and the fact that Rhea Seahorn says it all the time in interviews makes me feel like it probably won't happen, but I do feel like it's possible for the writers to create something like this within the story. Is it possible that we could see Gene call Kim on the phone or meet up with her somewhere to inform her of his current situation? Could Gene give Kim his shoebox, including his diamonds, for safekeeping? But if Gene gets into some sort of danger, the last thing he probably wants is to get Kim involved. So what if she gets herself involved? What if by the end of Gene's 601 scene, he ends up in custody somehow? It could be because the cab driver turned him in, maybe because Gene turned himself in, or Gene could get arrested for something totally unrelated to Saul Goodman or the cab driver. So, Gene gets arrested and taken into custody. Okay, now what? Well, what if Kim comes to his defense? What if Kim didn't get disbarred and she turns out to be his lawyer by surprise? Maybe they broke up, maybe they went their separate ways for one reason or another, and he hasn't seen her in forever, but she catches whiff that he's, in custody, and she comes to his rescue. What I'm pretty much trying to say here is that Gene is Kim's damsel in distress. Now, as always, there's branching possibilities here. Did Gene call her in to be his lawyer, or did she come by complete surprise? Let's say the camera just shows Gene sitting in custody, being told that his lawyer has arrived. He acts confused, saying that he didn't ask for a lawyer, only to look up and see Kim. And you know what would make it that much more perfect? If the black and white had the color fade back in as Gene looks up at her. To elaborate, I say this because obviously all the Gene scenes are in black and white. The only time that we see color in the Gene scenes is the reflection of Saul Goodman's commercials in Gene's glasses when he's watching his old commercials back in season 1. We saw color in the first Gene scene, and it would make sense to see color in the last Gene scene. I believe that somehow color will reappear in Gene's life again, and Kim could be the reason for it. Kim could be the thing that helps him break out of his shell as Gene and end his torturous solitude. Now, of course, Gene is just antisocial for his own safety because he had to disappear and all, but he's such a social person, and being so lonely has sucked the life out of him, and the only time that he sees color is when he looks at his previous life. Do you think this is too corny, or could they actually make it work in a serious and emotional manner? What if it turned out to be an open-ended cliffhanger, either ending off the 601 Gene scene, or even ending a full Gene episode at the end of season 6? Would we get to see Kim try to defend Gene and get him out of this current situation, or would the show end open-ended? Not gonna lie, it would be a cool moment to have, but I definitely wouldn't want that to be the ending. I'm not sure if I even want Gene and Kim's endings to be open-ended, but just like Jesse, what if they left Gene and Kim's ending as open-ended at the end of Better Call Saul so that they can make a Netflix movie special with Gene and Kim the same way that they did with Jesse for El Camino? Would you want to see a full Gene Netflix movie to end off the show?
Yeah, bitch.
Or should they just conclude everything with Better Call Saul Season 6 and that's it? Now, it's true that El Camino wasn't in mind whatsoever when Jesse's ending was written for Breaking Bad. It's only years later that they decided to elaborate on it. But since they've already done it once with Jesse, could they do it again with Gene and possibly Kim as well? Plus, if they have this in mind, while writing the end of Better Call Saul, they could have it transition into the full Gene/Kim movie just so much better. Let me know of any Gene Netflix movie special spin-off ideas in the comments below, because one of my future Gene videos will be focusing on that subject. Also, how likely do you think that it is for Gene to reunite with Kim post Breaking Bad? What theory out of all the ones that we mentioned today do you think is the most likely to reunite them, and once they are reunited, what do you think will happen? Leave any predictions or opinions down in the comments below. Gene reuniting with Kim would be considered Gene's happy ending. For every happy ending that we can think of for these characters, there's about 5 more depressing endings that we can think of as well, but sometimes it's it's nice to focus on the positive. Although it may be the less likely option than the bad ending, I still think it's nice to think about, just like thinking about how Kim could be alive and well or even around during Breaking Bad. As always, there's so many possibilities, along with multiple variables for each and every situation on top of it. Kim and Gene reuniting is just more branches and branches of possibilities, which is why I do like to think that it's very likely that it'll happen. Now, to be fair, I'm no professional writer. There's no way that I could think up of something as brilliant as chicanery or Bagman or 1 Minute or Crawl Space, so it's safe to say that if Gene and Kim actually do reunite in season 6, it's gonna be 10 times more brilliantly Bravo Vince than I could ever think of, but it doesn't hurt to bounce around all the ideas that we currently have.
Yep. Bullshit. I called it good.
You did.
Hold on, guys.
I think I'm gonna blow this.
Even though I tried to cover every single different possibility, I might have still forgotten something that you may want to add. If you want to elaborate on anything I've said in this video, or if you have any theories of your own, please let me know down in the comments below. I apologize that this video took a bit longer to release. I like to try to release at least one video every week. This video took me about 2 weeks just due to its length, and even though this video is about a half an hour long, that's already after I've cut out a bunch of unnecessary ramblings and elaborations. The planning out that needed to be done beforehand, it took a lot of preparation. So with all that being said, I hope you all enjoyed my Gene and Kim reunion theories. I've recently created a playlist for all of my Kim Wexler videos, which I'm going to include this in since we've talked about her so much in this video. Feel free to check out the playlist along with my Gene playlist, which has every single main Gene breakdown, theory, and discussion video that we've done here on the channel. Also check out my last video if you missed it, where I broke down all of the season 4 deleted scenes, along with getting a direct answer from Tom Schnoz about Lalo burning down the travel wire. I really enjoyed making that video, and I believe you'll enjoy it too.
You know what? When you're right, you're right.
As always, I'd appreciate a like on the video if you've enjoyed anything that I've said today, and if you're new here or just haven't yet already, please subscribe and hit that bell notification to stay updated on whenever I post new content on Better Call Saul and Breaking Bad. I thank you all so much for watching, and until next time, I'll talk to you guys later. Peace out.
Whoa. Okay, that's it. We're done.
Godspeed to you.
I just wanted something else.
What did you want?
More.